Have you ever felt small after someone said something cruel? Words can cut deep. They linger in our minds and plant seeds of doubt. But here's the truth, their words do not define you. Today's story will show how to guard your heart from harsh voices and remember your true worth. At the end, I'll share one simple mirror practice. It takes just 10 seconds each morning, but it can change how you see yourself forever. Let me tell you about a potter and a very special clay pot. In a quiet village lived a potter named Mara. She spent her days shaping clay into beautiful pots and bowls. Every piece she made was unique. Some stood tall and elegant. Others were short and sturdy. Mara loved them all equally, knowing the care she'd poured into each one. One morning, she finished a simple pot. It wasn't fancy or patterned, just smooth sides and a wide opening. Mara smiled as she set it on the shelf to dry. "You'll serve someone well," she whispered. That afternoon, a wealthy merchant entered her workshop. He looked around with sharp eyes, examining everything. His gaze fell on the simple pot. "How much for that one?" he asked, pointing. Mara gave a fair price. The merchant laughed loudly. "That plain thing? It's worth half what you're asking. Look at it, there's nothing special. No decoration, no artistry. I've seen better pots made by children." His words hung in the air like smoke. Mara felt her chest tighten. She had worked hard on that pot, every curve intentional, the thickness just right. But doubt crept in. "Maybe he's right," she thought. "Maybe I'm not as skilled as I believed." The merchant left without buying anything. Mara stared at the pot for a long time. The joy she'd felt earlier had vanished. She considered throwing it away or hiding it where no one would see. Days passed slowly. Mara couldn't forget the merchant's words. She tried making fancier pots with elaborate designs, but her hands felt unsure. The joy had left her work. Each new piece seemed wrong somehow. One evening, one old woman came to the workshop. She walked with a cane and had kind eyes that crinkled when she smiled. "I need a pot for water," she said gently. "Something reliable and strong." Mara showed her the newer, decorated pieces. The old woman shook her head at each one. Then she spotted the simple pot on the shelf. "That one," she said, pointing. "That's exactly what I need." "Are you sure?" Mara asked hesitantly. "Someone told me it wasn't very good. He said it lacked artistry." The old woman picked up the pot carefully. She turned it in her hands, feeling the smooth surface. "This pot is perfect," she said firmly. "The walls are even. The weight is balanced. It'll hold water without leaking. These fancy ones might look pretty, but they are not made for daily use." "Who told you this wasn't good?" Mara explained about the merchant and his harsh comments. The old woman listened quietly. When Mara finished, the woman set the pot down gently between them. "Let me tell you something important," she began. "I've lived many years and met all kinds of people. Some see value everywhere they look. Others see flaws in everything because that's what lives inside their own hearts." The merchant spoke from his emptiness, not from truth. She picked up the pot again. "This pot knows what it is. Clay shaped with care, fired in the kiln, ready to serve its purpose." The merchant's words didn't change the pot's nature. It remained exactly what you made it to be. His opinion was just noise passing through the air. Mara felt something shift inside her chest. "But his words hurt," she admitted softly. "Of course they did," the old woman replied. "Words can sting like thorns. But remember this, a thorn only causes pain when you press against it. If you pull away and leave it lying on the ground, it can't hurt you anymore. The merchant's words are thorns. You kept pressing them into your heart. It's time to set them down." She reached into her bag and pulled out a small mirror. It was round, with a one wooden frame, and fit perfectly in her palm. "My grandmother gave me this when I was young. She told me something I'll never forget: when someone speaks harshly about you, look into this. See yourself clearly. Their words show you their eyes, not your truth. This mirror reminds me who I am when other voices try to tell me differently. She placed the mirror in Mara's hands. Your worth isn't determined by every voice that speaks. It's determined by what you're made of deep inside. This pot is valuable because you made it with skill and intention. That truth doesn't change whether the merchant sees it or not. The old woman bought the pot and left. Mara held the small mirror in her palm. She thought of all the pots she'd made over the years, hundreds, now in homes throughout the village. People used them daily. They held water, stored grain, served food. Her work mattered. It always had. The merchant's words were just one voice among many. Why had she given his opinion so much power? She remembered other customers who'd thanked her warmly, the woman who returned twice because the first pot served her family so well. Those voices were real, too. Perhaps more real because they came from actual experience, not quick judgment. The next morning, Mara returned to her wheel. She centered a lump of clay and began to shape it. Her hands moved with confidence again. She made what felt right, simple, strong pieces that would serve people well. Some customers would appreciate them, others might not. That was all right. Their opinions didn't change the quality of her work. Weeks later, the merchant returned. He wanted to order several pots for his shop. I've heard people talking about your work, he said. Apparently, your pots last longer than others. I misjudged you before. Mara nodded calmly. Thank you for saying so, she replied. But inside, she felt nothing. His approval didn't lift her the way his criticism had pushed her down. She'd learned something crucial, and other people's words were just weather passing by. Sometimes sunny, sometimes stormy, but the ground beneath her feet remained solid. That ground was her own knowledge of her skills, her effort, her purpose. She kept the small mirror on her workbench. Whenever doubt whispered, she looked into it briefly. The mirror reminded her of a simple truth: your worth isn't their words. It never was. It never will be. You're made of something deeper than anyone's quick opinion. So here's your practice. Every morning when you look in the mirror, say one true thing about yourself that no one else's words can change. Maybe it's, I try my best, or I show up each day, or I have a kind heart. Pick something real that you know is true regardless of what anyone says. Speak it out loud. Let your own voice be the one that matters most. Do this for 10 days and watch your inner strength grow. If this story touched your heart, pass it along to someone who needs to hear it today. Drop a comment sharing what you'll say to yourself tomorrow morning. Subscribe so we can walk this journey of growth together. Your support helps these stories reach people who need them most. Remember, you're valuable not because everyone sees it, but because it's true. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next story.